All right, folks. So welcome again. This is Friday Features with Morris, Beyond the Classroom, a Q&A panel with current students. I'm Hannah. I'm an admissions counselor here, and I am going to have our wonderful panelists introduce themselves right now. So I am going to ask them to say their names, their year in school, their major, and a favorite Morris memory. So I'm just going to go across the top. Christina, you're at the top of my screen today. So will you introduce yourself first?
Yep. So, hi everyone. My name is Christina Gilbert. I am a third year here at Morris. I am a biology and environmental science major. And one of my favorite memories is my friend and I just decided, oh, instead of going to the gym, let's just go take a walk as our afternoon exercise one day. So we just decided we'll just go to the wind turbines, hang around, take some pictures, and enjoy the beautiful scenery.
Awesome. Sam?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Rosemark. I am a third year, a junior. I study political science and economics with a minor in environmental leadership and stewardship. I definitely have a lot of good Morris memories. I think a highlight might have to be when I traveled abroad to Cuba with about 20 other Morris students. That was a really cool experience.
Awesome. Sierra?
Mataki everybody. My name is Sierra Paskey. I am a fifth year right now, so I'll be graduating this spring, and I'm a double major in forensic science and native studies. I have a lot of memories in Morris for 5 years, but I guess the most recent is probably the summer I did study abroad in Thailand with our chemistry students, so that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Sierra. And Brandon?
Hi, my name is Brandon King. I'm a second year. I'm going for psychology, sociology, and human services with a minor in history. So yeah, there's a lot of things I'm doing. But my favorite memory is in the fall, we had actually a 24-hour RPG night. So we just played Dungeons and Dragons all night, and you could go from one game to another game to another game. It was actually a lot of fun, and there was a lot of coffee drank that night.
That's awesome. Thank you all. I'm so excited that you are here. I am going to start off with a question. I want to know, how did you decide on Morris? And what are the things here that make you love it? So what made you stay? Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I can start that. So there was a couple of reasons I chose Morris. The first being financially, it was a good choice. I have a twin sister and also a younger sister who we're all within a 2-year age range. So we were all going to be going to college around the same time. And Morris offering the tuition waiver for Native students really helped us a lot, being able to afford college. Another reason was that I could choose my own major here. So that's how I was able to do a forensic science major. That's something I've been interested in for a long, long time, and was really excited that I was able to do those kind of classes here. And the last was going to a small town. So I'm from Rochester, Minnesota, which is a pretty big city. And while I loved it, I wanted something smaller, closer community and things like that. And Morris offered me that. To stay here, I think I've loved the opportunities that I've gotten here, whether that be like through research or through organizations and things like that, but just the opportunities Morris has offered me.
Awesome. Thank you.
I could go next. So I chose Morris because the tuition waiver, but I'm also a non-traditional student, so they actually were able to contact me and talk me through a lot of the applying process and work with me through that during that process. But then also, it was a smaller campus. I like how you're able to interact with the professors a lot more and get to know them. And then you're not just another number in the classroom, but your professors actually remember you and they actually offer you different opportunities if they think it's right for you. And even if they're not your professor, they'll still talk to you and help give you ideas on what might be.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
I can hop in next here. So the reason why I ended up choosing Morris was I wanted to go to a liberal arts, school. I really valued that, and I really value the mission that Morris has, being a public liberal arts school. It's much more accessible, and that sort of thing. I really also liked the community after visiting and seeing what Morris was all about. I liked how the small kind of campus size. You really get to know everybody, which is nice. And part of that too is getting to know faculty. That one-on-one faculty connection, like we're really about that here. It's something that we're really proud of. The fact that it's part of the University of Minnesota, there's a lot of great opportunities that come with that. We have a whole system to take advantage of, essentially. And then the location, I'm from the Twin Cities. I'm from the Twin Cities area. So I'm far enough away to be away from parents, but close enough to get back home, that kind of thing. Not a lot of distractions as well, but plenty to do still. And then the finances really kind of sweeten the deal, making it, there's a lot of value in what's being offered.
Awesome. Christina, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. So I share a lot of the same reasons that Sam does. I'm also from the Twin Cities, so the being away from parents but still saying being able to go home for a random weekend was a pretty big draw. And then I also came from a smaller high school where I at least was familiar with everybody. So I was excited to have a smaller campus community that also had lots of big connections being a part of the U system. And then also the fact that we could be free to choose, be able to do all whole sorts of things, being a liberal arts campus. So I am a biology major, but I also did theater in high school as a technical crew person. And so I've gotten the opportunity to take those classes and be a part of those productions as well, even though I am very much so on the opposite side of campus for all my other classes. So it was a pretty big draw for me.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all. So we've got our first question from our audience. So audience, I encourage you use that Q&A to ask questions about whatever you're interested in, Morris related. So what are activities, clubs, sports y'all are involved in?
I can start that one. So I'm majorly involved in 3 clubs. One is dance ensemble. So that's our student-run dance performance group. So there's student choreographers, and it's all student-run. And then we have 2 major performances a year, 1 per semester. So we work all throughout the semester, and at the end of the semester, we have a performance. It's a lot of fun. You really get to know the people that you're in your dance with. Second one is Yule Ball Planning Committee. So that committee plans our yearly winter dance. It's Harry Potter themed. A lot of people come in everything from formal dresses to just a shirt and tie. So it's a lot of fun, and it's fun to have a planning committee. It's a very busy weekend though. And then the last one is our saddle club here on campus. So some students choose to bring their equines. We recently had a donkey this past semester, so now I feel like I need to say equines. Some students choose to bring their equines to campus for companionship. So Saddle Club is their support system for having their equines here on campus, or they're on campus. And as well as the club also trains other students who don't own horses to be a handler. So if the owner decides they need to go home for a weekend or something like that, other club members can step in and take care of their horses for them.
I can go next. So I've been involved in quite a few different orgs and activities and stuff on campus. So I was a track athlete for the last 4 years, and then this last year, I'm no longer eligible to compete, but I have been an assistant coach, so I still help out with the track team a lot. I have been on 2 different org e-boards. So the Circle of Nations Indigenous Association, or CNIA, which is a group that does a lot of cultural activities for our Native students. So we host things like our powwow every year. I've been involved with that since my freshman year. And we also do other activities connecting our campus and community with our Native students. I also have been on the e-board for ACES, which is our American Indian Science and Engineering Society. That's an org that is focused on connecting Native students who are interested in STEM fields into like professional programs after Morris and things like that. I am also a McNair Scholar, which is a post-baccalaureate success program. So I will be going to grad school after undergrad because of that. I've also been a peer mentor for NAS, which is our Native American Student Success, peer mentor for McNair as well. And I'm also a campus ambassador. So I do this kind of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you both. Sam?
I could. Oh,
Or
sorry.
Brandon? Sorry, go ahead, Brandon. You had yours unmuted first.
Okay. So I'm also a NAS mentor with Sierra, and then I'm also the Board of Regents rep for our student government, finishing that up for the rest of the semester. And then I'm also the student government, a part of our MMA program on campus. I'm actually going to be the president of it for next year. And then I'm also part of our Big Friend, Little Friend program, which is like our Big Brother, Little Brother program. We mentor students in the community. It's actually a lot of fun, and we have big events throughout the entire year. So I'm also part of that, and I'm also part of CAC, which is our campus events community committee, and then also a part of AFRC, which is our activities fund review board, and we get to spend an entire day listening to a bunch of clubs pitch us things they want to do, how we could spend our activities funds. It's a lot of fun. Sam's a part of that too, and I'll let Sam go.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. So I'm part of a group. It's called the Morris Model. Is one thing that I do. It's a group of faculty, some staff, community members that focus on making Morris a more sustainable community. One big highlight that I didn't mention previously about Morris is it's very environmentally friendly. We're one of the top leaders in the country around environmental and sustainability and renewable energy. So that's something really cool. I'm also part of the Morris Campus Student Association, which is that logo right there. It's our student government on campus that Brandon mentioned. I serve as the student body president. So that's been a really great opportunity. Really get to know a lot of students, a lot of faculty, a lot of staff. One thing that's really cool about Morris is they really value student input. So we're able to, talk with a lot of faculty and get a lot of things done for students. And then I'm also part of our Pi Sigma Alpha, our political science honors society. We do a lot of cool events like, get out the vote stuff or movie series around political topics, I guess. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing that. My next question is from another attendee, and you've mentioned a couple of you have done study abroad. Will you tell us what it was like, what the process was like getting it going?
Sure. So I did study abroad in Thailand this last summer. It was part of our chemistry class. So the process for it's pretty simple. You just apply to go, and the only real requirement is that enough people sign up to do it. So I had originally wanted to go to this Thailand study abroad 2 years ago, but not enough people signed up, so we weren't able to host it. And so then I tried again this last year, and it was successful. And basically you can get chemistry credits for it. I didn't need them. So I just did it for the experience and did it to go to Thailand. And it's basically, so it is like class. So you do have like classwork. We had to do labs in Thailand, and we actually ended up meeting with another university there because one of our chemistry faculty has connections with the university over in Mahasarikam, Thailand. And so we worked with a bunch of their students. And so we basically for 3 weeks just hung out with Thai students, traveled around Thailand, and did chemistry.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I can jump in on this here too. So I did study abroad, as I mentioned, in Cuba during my sophomore year, so last year over winter break. One thing that's really nice about Morris is that we have different opportunities around study abroad. So if you want to do the full year, or full semester, that's totally an option. Otherwise, if you want to accomplish a lot in terms of like double majoring and like doing all this stuff, you could do like a winter, 3-week study abroad program, which is what I've done. And of course, there's summer opportunities too. But I traveled abroad in Cuba with 2 faculty members from Morris, so that was really nice. And a lot of people don't get to go to Cuba, so that was, a huge opportunity. We're one of the few schools that, have that established relationship. And like I said, it was with 20 other Morris students. It was a pretty simple process. There's just a quick application, and then you get, selected, and they have a whole tutorial that walks you through everything. So pretty good. And then I also studied abroad in Germany this last winter and studied renewables and how he's leading, what could do to also lead. And that was a system-wide program. So we had Twin Cities people on that as well with some more students. So that just kind of showcases how many like opportunities there are. It was like a Minnesota delegation. So it was like pretty like prominent, I guess. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. I am going to move on to our next question. We had a handful of questions in our queue about like, what is there to do in Morris? What is it like? What do you do for fun? What's the town of Morris like? And I'm going to add to that. Some of you mentioned you're from bigger towns. Can you describe like what maybe that transition was like from a big town to a small town, and what you guys do for fun?
Jump in on that one. So I am from the suburbs of the Twin Cities. So as long as you ignore the surrounding farmland and pastures, it's kind of like being at home, almost. But yeah, it is a little different. You don't have a Walmart 5 minutes away, sort of thing. So it's kind of, there's a bit of an adaptive process in being like, do I really need this thing? Or you just learn that there's lots of stuff going on. My friends and I have jumped on seeing a discounted movie or a free movie, and various things like that. There's a bajillion performances every weekend. Every time I look at the calendar, I'm just like, oh, my weekend's already full and I didn't even have to try. So it's really hard to be bored. I have to like stick to my guns and be like, no, I'm staying in my dorm room for me to actually be physically bored. It's really hard, actually. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, I would also add on to that so I came from a big city, and it was a big cultural shock for me to come to a small town, just like the limit of things to do here. I also didn't have a car my whole freshman year here, so I was kind of like restricted to campus unless I wanted to walk places, which I mean, it's Morris. It doesn't take that long to walk anywhere. But yeah, like pretty early on, the campus works really hard to get freshmen introduced into different things that are happening on campus, especially our welcome weekends. We have stuff happening all the time. So you get introduced to what is available to do on campus. And then after the first couple of weeks, you're probably involved in some organization that's going to be doing stuff throughout the semester. So pretty early on, you start noticing that if your org isn't doing something, another org is. So there's always something to keep you distracted.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's really hard not finding something to do, especially with organizations. They immediately always have something going on almost every weekend. Or when you come here, you always end up finding some people that you enjoy being around and hanging out with. So they end up becoming like your friend group. And there's been times where I'm just home and then all of a sudden I get a message like, hey, you want to go here? And then I just end up going and then end up spending the entire day with them and then realize, oh, I ended up spending the entire day outside just playing random things or running around town. And yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, just to add quickly to that, I'm from like a Twin Cities suburb, kind of east metro area. And a concern that I had about coming to Morris was, would there be anything to do? It's a small town. I do realize that Morris is a big town to some people. Like for some people, it's a larger community. But when I got here and kind of explored the community and explored the campus, there's a lot to do. There's, like people have said, there's really there's no time to, be bored or there's nothing going on. Campus puts on a lot of events. Our community puts on a lot of events. We have a really cool movie theater. It's really cheap to go to the movies. It's really cheap to do a lot of things, which is a huge benefit. I definitely save a lot of money when I'm here compared to when I'm home. So that's a really big benefit.
Awesome. Thank you all. So I've got a couple questions that I'm going to kind of put together. One is, what is it like to make friends at Morris? And I think this is sort of along the lines of, it's going to college, it's a big change. What was it like making friends? What was that transition like? And maybe what supports did you find? Would you talk a little bit about that experience for me?
Yeah, so I'll jump in on that one. So to preface this, I am quite the introvert. I usually need some sort of alone time to kind of recharge, but making friends is almost too easy. You just kind of, I almost describe it as fall into friend groups. Like my best friend for the last 3 years was in my orientation group. And we've just kind of added people into that friend group since. So you really just kind of fall into it. You start joining clubs, you start taking classes, and you just start to recognize people. And then it's like, hey, and then suddenly you find yourself saying hey to like 5 people as you're just walking 3 minutes across campus. So yeah, it's actually surprisingly easy, even being introverted, like I am. People just kind of like, here, come be a part of this group. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's pretty easy finding friends. And then for my experience, I'm again an introvert, but then my roommate, we live we had lived off campus and had friends over, and they just immediately just dragged me in and took me out with them, and we ended up hanging out that way. And then from there, I just kept getting pulled into different activities even within my first day of being here. And I ended up finding my own friend group and then finding organizations I enjoy and end up becoming a part of them and just building my friend group from there.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, I would say so. Most of my friends came from me joining the organizations I did. So I found a lot of people who were like-minded, like myself. Coming from a big city, there's not a large Native population in Rochester. So coming to Morris was a big shock for me to like see other Native people. So I instantly was drawn into them, and they took me in, and we became really close friends really quickly. And then just going through classes. I mean, I remember when I got my tour of Morris when I was a prospective student and stuff, the tour guide, he was saying hi to everybody he walked by. He knew all of them. And I was like, I'm never going to make friends like that here. Now I'm a tour guide. And when I walk around and give tours, I say hi to 20 plus people. And it just happens. I mean, because we are so small, everyone in my class, I know everyone in my classes now, every time I go to class, and I've known them for years now. And you just connect with them either through classes, through orgs, through interests, through where you lived with them, if you did, and stuff like that. So it just happens.
Yeah, I definitely think we can all agree that like getting to class and walking across campus, we all get like bombarded by seeing folks and our friends, and we want to say hi. And sometimes it's a struggle to get to where we need to go, I guess. But good thing it's a small campus; it only takes 5 minutes to get somewhere. But I would say like absolutely for like everything else, like big on orgs and stuff like that helps. But Morris does a really good job initially, kind of what we talked about with Welcome Week and whatnot. They really facilitate and make it easy to get to know folks. And I would say too that your floor mates, I guess, on your floor of your residential hall, the CAs, the community advisors, really, and just the Office of Residential Life in general, really helps that process. And you really get to know your floor mates really well. Like I'm best friends with my floor mates still to this day. And I'm also roommates with a friend that was a part of my like orientation group. So things work out in really cool ways, and it's relatively easy to get to know folks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So I'm really cognizant of this, the few minutes we have left, but we do have one question from an attendee that I would like to address, and then we'll wrap it up with a quick rapid fire. But if someone would really quick speak to, so there are folks, they know we're super nervous about finding a job after college. How has Morris prepared you for your future career?
I guess I can speak quickly on this. So, since I will be graduating this spring, I'm not actually going to be going into the job market right now. I'm going to grad school. But Morse has really influenced me going to grad school. Like I said, I'm involved in what's called the McNair program, which is a post-baccalaureate program that helps minority and underrepresented students go for their PhDs. And so Morris has really kind of like made me recognize my potential in continuing my education in that way. And they have offered me so many opportunities. Like I said, I've done research since I was a sophomore here, and I presented it across the country, and will be continuing that kind of work. Really influenced me and showed me the potential I have to continue on. And so in that way, if you're planning to do education, just the support and the mentorship you get here.
Awesome. Thank you, Sierra. Anyone else really quick additional thoughts on that?
Just to add, I think kind of what Sierra mentioned about just the amount of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities that will really strengthen, you as a candidate for whatever job you may want to pursue. Our career services staff is super helpful. They're always there if you need them to look over your resume, that sort of thing. We have a lot of internship connections. I was planning on going to DC this summer. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but through the connections and whatnot Morris and the alumni have, it's a lot easier.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. We are at our time. Before we go, give me a one-word answer. What is your favorite thing about Morris? It can be a couple words, but a quick rapid fire favorite thing about Morris.
The community.
Community.
The people.
Awesome. Christina?
Opportunities.
Opportunities. Love it. Sierra?
I was also going to say like, opportunities and professional connections.
Awesome. So thank you all for being our panelists today. It was wonderful talking to you. Those of you who are participating today, thank you for coming and spending some time with us via the internet. If you do have any questions, if you want to talk more deeply about some of these things, please go to our website, look at those links that I sent you. Our website, email, and phone number is at the bottom of this page. You can also go to morris.umn.edu to find more information. We'd love to get you set up for a virtual tour, for a virtual interaction with a counselor to get you talking to students. So if there's anything we can do for you, please reach out. We are here as a resource. So with that, I am going to log us off this call. Thank you again for your time and have a great rest of your day.